You want to go to college? Good. Figure it out yourself. My mother said it without looking at me. Then she slid a check for $118,000 across the dining table to my younger sister. Same table, same roast chicken, same parents, different child. Lily didn't even look up when she took it. Just said, "Thanks, Mom," like it was normal. Like this was how things worked. 9 years later, I stood in the back row of her wedding. Rosewood Estate. White linens. String lights in the trees. 200 guests dressed in money and perfume. A wedding fully paid for by the same parents who told me independence builds character. My mother leaned toward my father during the reception and whispered, "Why does it feel like something's missing?" Before anyone could answer. The groom went pale. He looked at me, then at Lily, then back at me, and he said one word. Not loud, not dramatic, just one word. Proof. 200 people went silent. What happened next didn't involve shouting. I didn't grab a microphone. I didn't expose anything. The truth had already been exposed. In less than 4 minutes, a wedding collapsed, a 9-year lie unraveled, and the version of me my family had been selling to the world stopped working. I didn't come to destroy anything. I came because my father asked me to. But when compliance reports, missing credentials, and a groom who valued honesty more than optics collide in the same room, things break. My name is Ethan Connolly. I'm 27 years old, and this isn't a revenge story. It's a survival story that just happened to end in front of 200 witnesses. Let me take you back to the dinner where it started. Before I go back 9 years, let me say something clearly. This isn't revenge. Revenge is loud. It's impulsive. It's emotional. What I did was survive. There's a difference. If this story hits somewhere uncomfortable for you, if you've ever been the kid who was told to be strong while someone else was funded, take a second to like and subscribe. Not for me. For stories like this. And drop your city and local time in the comments. I always read them. I want to know where you're listening from. Now let's go back to the house on Maple Ridge Lane. I grew up in a white colonial on Maple Ridge Lane in West Hartford, Connecticut. 4 bedrooms, 2-car garage. Lawn cut every Saturday at exactly 9:00 a.m. by my father. Like routine, could hold a family together. From the outside, we looked stable. From the inside, we ran on a system. My mother never wrote it down. She didn't have to. Lily was the investment. I was the overhead. Lily got piano lessons and private tutors. I got her old textbooks with someone else's notes in the margins. Lily got a new suit for every school dance and awards banquet. I got told, "You don't need all that. You're tougher." At neighborhood barbecues, my mother introduced us like a product comparison. "This is my daughter Lily. She's going to do incredible things." Then she gestured vaguely toward me. "And this is Ethan." No prediction, no projection, just a name. The refrigerator in our kitchen was a museum of Lily's life. Cheerleading photos, debate trophies, honor society certificates, a dried corsage from homecoming taped to the freezer handle. There wasn't an inch of stainless steel visible. Sophomore year, I made honor roll for the first time in high school. I printed the certificate at school, carried it home in my backpack like it was glass, and stuck it dead center on the fridge with a magnet. When I came home that afternoon, it was gone. The fridge was getting cluttered. My mother said without looking up from her magazine. That was the day I understood something important. Validation in our house had limited square footage. My father was a different kind of problem. He wasn't cruel. He was strategically absent. Sometimes, in the hallway, when my mother was in another room, he'd squeeze my shoulder and whisper 5 words. "I'm proud of you." And Seville son, always quiet, always fast. Like pride was contraband. 5 words, repeated over years, but never at the dinner table. Never where it counted. I told myself it would change when college came. When I got in. When I proved I wasn't overhead. I got accepted with a partial scholarship that covered half. I just needed them to cover the rest. That dinner in May 2008 was supposed to be the night the system broke. Instead, it became the night I did. May 2008. I was 18. Graduation was 11 days away. I came to that dinner prepared. Scholarship letter printed. Tuition breakdown highlighted. 4-year budget spreadsheet color-coded. Projected income from part-time work. Expenses. Gap. $58,000 over 4 years. I'd rehearsed the conversation 3 times in the upstairs bathroom mirror. Dinner was roast chicken. Lily sat across from me. scrolling through her phone. My father cut his meat into small, precise squares like he was solving a puzzle that didn't want to be solved. I waited until my mother finished her second glass of wine. Then I set the folder on the table. I got into UConn. I said, half scholarship. I just need help covering the rest. My mother didn't touch the folder. Ethan, we've talked about this. No, we haven't. She folded her napkin. Slow, exact. You need to learn independence. She said it like she was diagnosing me with something. I kept my voice steady. You're paying Lily's full tuition at Syracuse. Lily's situation is different. How she has potential that needs nurturing. And I don't. You're resilient, she said. You'll figure it out. Resilient. The same word she used every time she didn't want to invest. I looked at my father. He stared at his plate. His fork didn't move. He said nothing. Lily swirled ice in her water glass. Didn't look up. Didn't say a word. This discussion is over. My mother said, if you want it badly enough, you'll find a way. That's what strong people do. I gathered my papers. My hands were shaking. I wouldn't cry. Not in front of her. Not in front of anyone. Later, in the hallway, my father caught my arm. For 1 second, I thought he'd finally step in. Your mother has her reasons, he said quietly. Just give it time. Time. Time had been my father's favorite solution to everything. He walked back into the living room, back to the television, back to peace that required my silence. That night, I packed one suitcase. I had $340 in my savings account at Cinch Piesperzechia. The house was dark. I set my house key on the kitchen counter next to the coffee maker. My mother's alarm would go off at 6:15. She'd find it before the coffee finished brewing. No note. I didn't have anything left to explain. The garage light was on. My father was sitting in his Buick. Engine off. Hands on the steering wheel. He saw me through the windshield. I saw him. 3 seconds. It felt like a year. He didn't open the door. I didn't knock on the glass. I turned and walked down the driveway. Suitcase wheels rattling over concrete. I didn't look back. The bus stop on Farmington Avenue was 90 minutes from the campus that would become my entire world. My dorm room had a thin mattress, a metal desk, and a window that didn't close all the way. I forgot to bring sheets. That first night, I slept in my jacket, and that was the last night I expected anyone to rescue me. By the end of my first week, I had 3 jobs: dishwasher at Bellini's, an Italian place off Main Street, overnight cashier at a Sunoco on Route 44, weekend cleaning crew in the residence halls. My schedule looked like something designed to break a person. 4 hours of sleep, class, shift, 90-minute nap in a library cubicle. Back to work. I ate whatever Bellini's was throwing out at closing. Cold pasta, bread heels. Once, a half-burned calzone that tasted like victory. 2 weeks in, I made the mistake of calling home. I don't know what I expected. Maybe distance had softened something. You made your choice. My mother said, don't call to make me feel guilty. 7 seconds. That was the entire conversation. I saved her contact under a new name. Do not answer. Freshman year didn't just challenge me. It dismantled me. I fell asleep in organic chemistry twice in the same week. During a dinner rush one Friday night, I grabbed the wrong handle and dumped boiling water across my left hand. Second-degree burns across 3 fingers. I wrapped it in gauze from the gas station first aid kit and went to my 800 A.M. lecture the next morning. My GPA dropped to 2. UF. My scholarship required a 3. Lean, 1 decimal point from collapse. That's when Professor Grant Holloway noticed. Silver hair, worn tweed jacket. The kind of man who actually reads student papers instead of skimming the abstract. After class, he asked me to stay. You're exhausted, he said. Not a question. I gave him the short version. No drama, just numbers. He didn't pity me. He opened a drawer and pulled out a folder. Internal research grants, he said. Paid positions. You're too sharp to burn out before sophomore year. He read my midterm paper twice. You think in systems, he told me. You see inefficiencies most people don't notice. He got me into a paid research assistant position in his healthcare data lab. $450 a month. It replaced the overnight gas station shifts. It saved my GPA. More importantly, it gave me something that felt like leverage instead of survival. That semester, I wrote a 1-4 Page research paper on credential tracking inefficiencies in small medical clinics, licensing gaps, manual verification errors, audit risks. It was dry, technical, unimpressive to anyone outside the field. But it was mine. I wrote most of it in the back of Bellinis between dish cycles, grease on my sleeves, data models in my head. Professor Holloway read it in one sitting. "This isn't just a paper," he said. "This could be a product." I laughed. I didn't have sheets for my bed. I wasn't building products. But he circled one section and tapped it twice. Credential verification automation. That's a hole in the market. Nobody's solving it well. I didn't know it then. But those 14 pages would become the foundation of something that would eventually walk into a vineyard wedding uninvited. But that part comes later. At the end of sophomore year, Bellini's closed. 40% of my income disappeared overnight. I sat on my dorm bed and did the math 3 times. 6 weeks of rent. After that, nothing. My thumb hovered over do not answer for 11 seconds. I counted. Then I locked my phone and walked to the campus job board. 2 more gigs. Statistics tutoring. Freelance data entry for a small insurance office. 3 hours of sleep on weekends. Some mornings, I couldn't remember driving to campus. I stopped hoping my family would change. I started building a life that didn't require them to. Thanksgiving came and went my freshman year. I wasn't invited. At least, not officially. I found out later my mother had told the extended family I'd been asked and chose not to come. "He's stubborn," she reportedly said, dabbing at her eyes. "He needs space. We've tried everything." That was the new narrative. I wasn't the son who got cut off. I was the son who walked away. The difficult one. The dramatic one. The ungrateful one. My Aunt Carol called the week after. "Your mother is heartbroken." "Ethan, why are you doing this to her?" I tried to explain the tuition dinner. She cut me off mid-sentence. "Donna would never do that. You've always been so intense." The line went dead. Just like that. I lost my mother's entire side of the family. Then came the photo. Lily posted it on Facebook. Brand new Audi. A 4 in the driveway. Red bow on the hood. Caption, "Best parents ever. So grateful for the support." My mother commented within minutes. "Anything for my girl. You deserve the world." 93 likes. I took a screenshot. Not out of bitterness. Out of clarity. The same parents who told me resilience builds character had just handed my sister a fertilize for $10,000 car before sophomore year. Same driveway. Same house. Different child. The posts kept coming. Spring break in Miami. Semester abroad in Florence. LinkedIn updates about internships I knew were funded by connections. And every time someone asked about me in the comments, my mother responded the same way. "Ethan is finding himself. Finding myself. Like I was wandering through the woods instead of working 3 jobs. Like I was lost instead of surviving." I could have posted my side. Could have corrected the record. But arguing online with a narcissist is like debating gravity. The rules don't apply equally. So I did something quieter. I blocked them. Every account. Facebook. Instagram. LinkedIn. I stopped reading the script they were writing about me. That was the night I stopped hoping for reconciliation and started focusing on leverage. Because while my mother curated a narrative online, I was building systems in real life. And systems don't care about family mythology. They care about truth. That would matter later. I graduated on a Sunday in May. 4,000 people in the stadium. None of them were mine. Noah Rivera was there. Though, he stood in the bleachers holding a cardboard sign that read Dr. Connolly. Eventually, the letters were crooked. The tape was visible. It was the loudest thing in the entire place. When my name was called, he stood up and yelled like I'd just won something bigger than a degree. We celebrated at a diner off Route 9. Split a plate of fries. Drank bad coffee. Called it enough. Within a month, I landed an entry-level analyst role at a small healthcare tech firm outside Hartford. 12 employees. 1 coffee machine that always broke. Old carpet. No prestige. But I learned fast. I wrote code no one wanted to touch. Fixed legacy systems. Volunteered for audits. Stayed late when things broke. Within 2 years, I was leading small integration projects. By 24. I was sketching ideas on napkins. Credential automation. License verification APIs. Audit-safe staff tracking for small clinics that couldn't afford enterprise software. The idea from Professor Holloway's lab had teeth now. I incorporated under a different name, Ethan Cole. Cole was my middle name. It felt neutral, clean, separate from Maple Ridge Lane. MedAccess Solutions. The first year, I had 2 clients and a folding table for a desk in a shared co-working space in Boston. No investors, just savings, an SBA loan, and insomnia. Year 2, we closed a seed round. Year 3, we were up to 19 employees. Year 4, Series A, $6 million, real office, glass conference rooms, actual desks. I still drove a dented Honda Civic, still lived in a 1-bedroom apartment in Somerville. I didn't build MedAccess to impress anyone. I built it because I never wanted to sit at a dinner table asking for permission again. Then came Chicago, Healthcare Technology Summit, 200 administrators, regional operators, mid-size clinic chains. I presented our platform credential automation, real-time license verification, compliance-ready documentation. Afterward, a man in a charcoal blazer approached me near the coffee station. Confident handshake, direct eye contact. Adrienne Cole, he said, CFO of Northbridge Medical Partners. We're expanding. 14 clinics now, 22 by next year. What you're doing, we need it. How big of a rollout, I asked. Large, he said, and fast. We exchanged cards. That night at O'Hare, waiting for my flight, I wrote in my notebook Adrienne Cole Northbridge, follow-up November. Just a name, just a deal, just business. Then, 6 months later, a friend request popped up on Facebook. Lily Connolly. New account. I declined it. 2 weeks after that, my phone rang. Connecticut area code. Hey, Lily said. It's me. I didn't ask how she got my number. I need a favor. She said. How much? 8,000. I'll pay you back. Mom and Dad can't know. For what? It's complicated. No. She hung up. 30 minutes later. Another call? My mother. How dare you refuse your sister? So Lily had lied within the first 5 seconds of reconnecting. Some systems never change. I set the phone down and went back to reviewing Northbridge's preliminary contract. I didn't know then that Adrienne Cole, CFO of Northbridge, was about to become my sister's fiancé, and that my software would eventually read a file with her name on it. 6 months into negotiations, the Northbridge contract was nearly finalized. Total value $2 million. Largest deal in MedAccess history. As part of implementation, Northbridge wanted our full credential automation module activated. That meant importing every staff member's file licenses, degrees, certifications into our verification engine. Standard procedure. No exceptions. Compliance doesn't care about family. My operations lead requested the full personnel roster. 2 days later, the spreadsheet hit my inbox. 14 names, titles, claimed degrees, licensing numbers. I didn't open it immediately. I had 3 back-to-back meetings and a product sprint to review. That afternoon, a cream-colored envelope was waiting in my mailbox. Heavy cardstock, gold embossed edges. I opened it at my kitchen counter, still holding my keys. Together with their families, Lily Connolly and Adrienne Cole request the honor of your presence at their wedding, Rosewood Estate, Old Saybrook, Connecticut, June 15th. Petnich Pray. I read it twice. Adrienne Cole, the same Adrienne Cole, CFO of Northbridge, my largest pending client. My sister was marrying the man about to sign a multi-million-dollar deal with my company. A folded piece of notebook paper slipped out from behind the RSVP card. Small handwriting, pressed hard into the page. Please come. Dad. Not my mother. Not Lily. My father. 9 years of near silence. 1 7-word email. And now this. He didn't know what I did for a living. He didn't know I was negotiating a deal with his future son-in-law. He just wanted both his children in the same room. I called Noah that night. She's marrying your client, he said. Yes. Does he know you're her brother? No. Does she know who you are professionally? Not a chance. Silence. So what are you going to do? I looked at my father's note again. The handwriting was shaky, like someone afraid of being caught doing the right thing. I'm going, I said. I should have thrown the invitation away. Every rational part of me said, don't, but closure isn't rational, and neither is collision. Meanwhile, the credential verification process was running in the background. 3 names on the roster were flagged for extended verification. Institutional responses pending. Turnaround time 2 to 3 weeks. The wedding was in 18 days. Verification results would likely arrive in 14. I didn't ask which 3 names were flagged. I didn't need to. I wasn't just walking into a wedding. I was walking into a convergence. 2 worlds my family had spent 9 years keeping separate about to meet. Rosewood Estate looked like money pretending to be tasteful. 12 acres of vineyard. White linen everywhere. String lights looped between old oak trees. A quartet playing something soft enough to sound expensive. 200 chairs faced a flower-wrapped arch. Noah adjusted his tie as we walked past the welcome table. "You sure about this?" he asked. "No," I said, "but I'm here." We hadn't made it 10 steps onto the lawn before I felt it. Eyes. Whispers. Recognition. But not the kind that welcomes you. My Aunt Carol was the first to approach. Champagne in hand. Tight smile. "I didn't expect to see you," she said. "I was invited." "By who does it matter?" She hesitated. Then drifted back toward a cluster of cousins near the bar. Already whispering. Then my mother appeared. Donna Connolly moved through that reception like it was a stage she'd rehearsed for months. Champagne-colored dress. Perfect hair. Smile calibrated to maximum wattage. When she saw me, the smile didn't drop. It froze up. She crossed the lawn in seconds and steered me behind a trellis of white roses. "What are you doing here?" "Attending my sister's wedding." "You haven't been part of this family in 9 years." "Whose choice was that?" Her jaw tightened. "Do not make a scene." "I have no intention of making a scene." She studied me, calculating. Then she turned back to the crowd. Voice bright and warm. "Ethan decided to surprise us," she announced to a nearby guest. "How wonderful." She didn't hug me, didn't touch me, just folded me into her performance like an awkward prop she needed to reposition. Then I felt a hand on my shoulder. My father. His suit hung slightly loose. His eyes were already red. He didn't speak. He just pulled me into an embrace. 9 years. The first real one. I went stiff for half a second. My body didn't remember how to receive that. Then I exhaled. "Hi, Dad." He nodded into my shoulder. Behind him, my mother was watching. Not angry. Afraid. Lily found me 10 minutes later. White gown. Perfect makeup. Smile cycling through shock. Calculation. Performance. She landed on performance. "Ethan. Oh my God. You came." She hugged me for the cameras. Her perfume was expensive. Her grip was hollow. "You look good," she said, scanning me like an audit. "Congratulations." "Mom didn't tell me," she said quickly. "She didn't know." "Interesting." My mother reappeared and placed a firm hand on my arm. "Let's get you seated." We were escorted to a table near the catering entrance. Back corner. Half hidden by a pillar. Names I didn't recognize. Plus ones without partners. The farthest seat from the microphone. "We didn't expect you," my mother said. This was the only spot left. Noah sat beside me and muttered. "Strategic placement." From the head table, my mother's voice carried clearly as she greeted guests. "My daughter, the healthcare executive. She's done so well. We're so proud." Singular. A cousin leaned toward her. "And Ethan, what's he doing these days?" A pause. Tilt of the head. "He's still figuring things out." Light laughter. A few heads turned toward me. Noah's hand pressed lightly against my wrist under the table. "Breathe." "I am." I'd been breathing through worse than this for 9 years. At the bar, Adrian stood with his groomsmen, gesturing animatedly. I heard him say loud enough to carry. "Wait until you meet our strategic tech partner later. She's flying in just for this deal." He meant me. He just didn't know it yet. The speeches began after dinner. Best man first. Polite applause. Then Lily's maid of honor. Tears on cue. Then my mother stood. Donna took the microphone like it was a birthright. "I want to talk about raising a child," she began. My fingers tightened around my water glass. She talked about sacrifice, about pouring everything into Lily's future, about investing in potential. "I raised my daughter to be independent," she said. Independent. The same word she'd used to deny me tuition. "When a family invests in their children," she continued, "beautiful things happen." Applause. 200 people clapped for the narrative. Then her gaze drifted toward my table. "And of course," she added lightly, "we love all our children." Footnote. Afterthought. Applause again. She finished with a flourish. Today, our family is complete. Complete. 9 years erased with one sentence. I wasn't going to say anything. I wasn't going to move. I was going to sit at the back table, finish my water, and leave quietly. That was the plan. Until Adrian and his business partner walked toward my table, and everything recalibrated. Greg Larson saw me first. Stocky build. Red tie. We'd done 2 video calls during negotiations. He stopped mid-step 3 feet from my table. Ethan Cole mid-axis. Adrian turned. Looked at me. Looked again. Recognition rearranged his face in real time. Wait. He said slowly. You're Ethan Cole? I stood. Hi. Adrian. But, Cole. His eyes flicked toward the head table. Then back to me. Connolly, Ethan Connolly. I said evenly. I use Cole professionally. Silence shifted the air around us. Adrian did the math. The invitation. The surname. The sister Lily had mentioned vaguely. Always dismissively. She never. He stopped himself. Never what I asked. He exhaled once. She said her brother was estranged. That you struggled. I nodded slightly. That's one version. Nearby tables had gone quiet. My mother materialized within seconds. Adrienne, she said warmly. Please don't pull Ethan into business tonight. Adrian turned toward her slowly. Business, he repeated. He looked back at me, then back at her. Mrs. Connolly, do you know who this is? Her smile held, tightened. My son, she said. He's the CEO of MedAccess Solutions. Adrian said clearly. We're about to sign a $2.8 million contract with his company. There it was. Not shouted. Not dramatic. Just fact. For 1 second less than 1 second my mother's mask slipped. Her eyes widened. Her mouth parted. Then it reset. Well, she said thinly. Isn't that lovely? Across the reception, Lily had stopped mid-conversation. Her glass hovered halfway to her lips. Fear. Not of me. Of something else. Adrian didn't wait. He was already walking toward the stage. Microphone in hand. Sorry. He said into it with an easy grin. One more quick announcement. 200 faces turned. I just learned something incredible. He continued. The CEO of MedAccess Solutions, the company about to modernize our entire credentialing system, is here tonight. He gestured toward me. And he happens to be Lily's older brother. Silence. Then scattered applause. Then louder. Heads turned. People stood to see better. I stayed where I was. Built his company from scratch. Adrian went on. No family funding. No shortcuts. Just work. The recalibration had begun. At the head table, my mother sat perfectly still, smiling, but no longer in control. The applause faded into something thinner. Curiosity. Confusion. Recalculation. I could see it moving table to table like a ripple through water. Lily was already crossing the reception floor. Her smile was fixed too tight. Adrian, she said lightly when she reached him near the stage. Can we not do business announcements right now? He didn't smile back. Did you graduate from SUNY? He asked. Not loud. Not angry. Just direct. A bridesmaid beside her froze. Lily laughed once short. Brittle. Of course I did. Why would you even? Did you? He repeated. Her eyes flicked across the crowd. Scanning. Measuring. Most of the reception had gone quiet. Even the quartet had stopped playing. Adrienne. My mother stepped in. Voice firm now. This is not the time. He turned to her. Did you know? He asked. Know what? She replied. Chin lifting. That your daughter doesn't have a master's degree. The words didn't echo. They landed. Heavy. Julia, no. Lily. In this version of the world, she was Lily. Her face drained of color. That's not. She started. Adrian lifted his phone. My compliance team ran credential verification for Northbridge. He said evenly. Standard procedure. Degree verification is part of the onboarding process. He looked at me once. I didn't move. Didn't nod. Didn't intervene. This wasn't my confrontation. Our system flagged 3 names for extended review. Adrian continued. One of them was yours. 200 people listening now. No clinking glasses. No whispered side conversations. Just silence. I contacted SUNY directly. He said. They have no record of you completing the program. You withdrew sophomore year. Lily's hands began to tremble. I was going to tell you. She said quickly. I just didn't feel like it mattered. I did the work. I basically finished. You listed it on your resume. Adrian said. You listed it in our clinic documentation. You introduced yourself as Senior Healthcare Administrator. That was the title they gave me, she shot back. You were a receptionist. Her breath hitched. My mother stepped forward again. This is absurd. Donna said sharply. My daughter graduated with honors. We celebrated. No. Adrian said quietly. You celebrated a version of her. The room felt smaller. Someone near the back set a wine glass down too hard. Lily looked at my mother. For a second, just a second, she looked like a child. I didn't know how to tell you, she whispered. That wasn't for Adrian. That was for Donna. My mother's face flickered. Anger. Shock. Calculation. Adrian exhaled once. I asked you one question tonight, he said, because I needed to hear the truth from you, not from a report. He stepped closer. Did you graduate? Lily opened her mouth, closed it. Her eyes darted toward me. For the first time in 9 years. She looked at me without performance, without superiority, without narrative, just fear. No, she said. It was barely audible, but it was enough. Silence collapsed over the vineyard. My mother grabbed her arm. Stop this. Donna hissed. We will handle this privately. Adrian didn't raise his voice. Stop, he said. One word. Sharp. Final. The same word he'd used in the cold open, though no one there realized it. He turned slowly and looked at me standing 10 feet away. This man, he said, voice tight, is the only honest Connolly in this room. 200 heads turned. I didn't speak. Didn't claim anything. The truth didn't need amplification. Lily's knees buckled. White fabric pooled around her on the stone patio like something deflated. Bridesmaids rushed in. Whispers spread. Phones appeared in hands. My father stood at the edge of the stage, gripping the back of a chair. He wasn't defending anyone. He wasn't speaking. He was crying silently. Adrian stepped back. The wedding is postponed, he said flatly. Not dramatic. Not explosive. Just over. The string lights still glowed. The vineyard still stretched behind us. But the illusion was gone. And I hadn't said a word. I was halfway across the gravel parking lot when I heard his shoes behind me. Uneven. Fast. Slipping slightly on the stone. Ethan. Wait. I stopped. Didn't turn right away. The air smelled like cut grass and spilled champagne. I don't have anything left to say, I said. Then let me. My father replied. I turned. He looked older than he had an hour ago. Tie loosened. Eyes swan. Shoulders smaller somehow. I knew, he said. Knew what, that it wasn't right. The tuition. The car. The way she treated you. His voice cracked. Every time. Then why didn't you say anything? He stared at the gravel for a long moment. Because I was a coward. There it was. Not whispered this time. Not in a hallway. Out loud. In front of people. He continued. Voice shaking. Your mother is loud. Certain. I told myself staying quiet kept the peace. That wasn't peace. I said. That was abandonment. He flinched. I know. Silence stretched between us. The reception music had stopped completely now. Somewhere behind us. Staff were stacking chairs. I chose comfort over you, he said, finally. And that's something I have to live with. I let that sit. I don't hate you, I said. But I can't fix what you didn't protect. He nodded slowly. I don't expect you to. For the first time in my life, my father wasn't trying to end the conversation. He was admitting he'd failed it. Drive safe, he said quietly. Not as a dismissal. As a man who knew he no longer had authority to ask for more. I got in the car. And for the first time in 9 years, he stood there and watched me leave. The fallout came in layers. The first wave was digital. Within 48 hours, my phone started lighting up. But this time, the tone was different. Not accusations. Questions. Then apologies. Aunt Carol called Monday morning. Her voice didn't carry the old certainty. I believed everything your mother told me, she said, for years. I'm sorry. I thanked her. I didn't say it was okay. Because it wasn't. Great Aunt Margaret emailed that night. 3 lines. Your grandfather would have been proud of you. I'm sorry we didn't see it sooner. Don't give up on all of us. The second wave was professional. Northbridge's legal team completed an internal review. Lily had listed the master's degree on her employment application. It appeared on compliance documentation submitted during a prior audit. There was no criminal charge, no patient harm, but there was misrepresentation, and in healthcare, that word follows you. She was terminated within 2 weeks. The official reason: credential falsification. Adrian emailed me personally. Professional. Controlled. The MedAccess contract remains on schedule. I won't allow personal matters to interfere with business. I do. However, we need space before our next meeting. I respected that. He had handled the explosion with more restraint than most men would have. The third wave was social. My mother attempted one final narrative, a Facebook post. Our family is being torn apart by jealousy and lies. Please pray for us. The comments didn't cooperate. What really happened at the wedding? Is it true about the degree? Why was Ethan introduced as CEO? She deleted the post 4 hours later. Then, silence. Her social circle thinned. Neighbors stopped stopping by. Invitations slowed. People who thrive on image rarely survive exposure. Lily texted me once. No emojis. No performance. I'm sorry. For everything. I read it 3 times. I didn't respond. Not out of cruelty. Out of clarity. Some apologies need distance before they mean anything. 2 weeks later, Rosewood Estate refunded what it could. The Portugal honeymoon was canceled. Gifts were returned. The white dress went back into a box. MedAccess signed the $2.8 million contract on schedule. We implemented Northbridge's credential module over 6 months. No shortcuts. No exceptions. No family discounts. And through it all, I stayed quiet publicly. No interviews. No posts. No counter-narrative. Because I didn't need to destroy anything. The truth had already done that. And for the first time in my life, I wasn't the one being explained away. People assume moments like that feel victorious. They don't. There was no triumph when the wedding collapsed. No satisfaction watching white fabric pool on stone. What I felt was something quieter. Release. For 9 years, my mother controlled the scale. The one that measured worth. Lily always came out shining. I always came out lacking. It took me a long time to realize the scale itself was broken. Not me. I started therapy 3 years ago. Twice a month. Wednesday evenings. Dr. Elena Russo. Small office. Neutral walls. No dramatic lighting. She doesn't nod excessively. She doesn't interrupt. She just asks questions that sit heavy in the room. Who decided you were expendable? What would it mean to stop trying to win? Why do you still seek approval from someone who benefits from withholding it? Therapy wasn't weakness. It was excavation. It forced me to separate survival from identity. For years, I thought resilience meant not needing anyone. Not asking. Not expecting. That's not resilience. That's armor. Armor keeps you safe. It also keeps you isolated. The wedding didn't heal me. It clarified something. I didn't need my mother to admit she was wrong in order to be right about myself. I sent her one email. Not angry. Not emotional. Clear. Mom, I don't hate you, but I won't participate in the narrative anymore. If you want a relationship, it requires honesty. Not performance. Not implication. Honesty. She never replied. I wasn't surprised. Narcissists rarely negotiate. They perform or they retreat. She retreated. I called my father the following Sunday. If you want to be in my life, I said, it can't be quietly. No more hallway whispers. No more neutrality. Long pause. I'll try. He said, don't try. Do? He didn't argue. That was new. Our calls are still short. 5 to 10 minutes. Weather. A documentary he watched. The neighbor's dog. He doesn't mention my mother. I don't ask. It's not a grand reconciliation. It's a crack in a wall. Enough light to see each other. Not enough to pretend the wall never existed. As for Lily, 3 months after the wedding, she mailed me a letter. 4 pages. Handwritten. She didn't blame me. She didn't blame Mom. She wrote I spent so long being who she needed me to be that I forgot to become anyone real. I haven't written back yet, but I didn't throw it away. It sits in my desk drawer, next to my old honor roll certificate. Yes, that certificate. A week after the wedding, a small envelope arrived. Connecticut postmark. Inside was the honor roll certificate my mother removed from the refrigerator when I was 15, slightly bent, yellowed at the edges. A sticky note attached. It was never clutter. It was always yours. Dad, he'd kept it. For 12 years. Hidden. Like every honest instinct he never acted on. It wasn't enough, but it was something. MedAxis continues to grow. 31 clinics across New England now. 28 employees. Real impact. But that's not the victory. The victory is this: I sleep through the night. I don't flinch when a Connecticut area code appears on my phone. I no longer measure myself against a scale designed to fail me. Freedom isn't loud. It doesn't require explosions. Sometimes it's just the absence of tension. Sometimes it's saying no once and not taking it back. My mother told me resilience builds character. She meant it as a dismissal. She thought it was something you give the child you invest less in. But resilience is forged, not gifted. And I built mine alone. In dorm rooms without sheets. In kitchens with burned hands. In boardrooms where my last name didn't matter. I don't need vindication. Vindication requires them to lose. Freedom only requires me to stop playing. There's a question I get sometimes. Usually, late at night. After a conference. After a drink. When the conversation shifts from business to personal. Do you feel vindicated? No. Vindication means I needed them to be wrong, so I could be right. I didn't. I just needed to be free. If you've ever been the scapegoat in your family, the one who was called difficult, dramatic, too sensitive, not enough, hear this clearly. Their rejection is not your reflection. You are not overhead. You are not the footnote. You are not the child who needs to prove worth to earn oxygen at the table. Sometimes freedom is loud. Sometimes it looks like a wedding collapsing under the weight of truth. But more often, it's quiet. It's blocking a number at 200 a.m. It's walking into therapy. It's building something that doesn't require their permission. It's saying no once and meaning it. I'm Ethan Connolly. I built a company from 14 pages in a research lab and a life from a bus ticket and $340. I have people around me who chose me. That's enough. If this story felt familiar, were you the golden child? Or the one left behind? Tell me in the comments. And if someone you know needs to hear this, share it with them. Sometimes the story you needed most is the one someone else sends you. Take care of yourself.